Today we will discover a fantastic trick that I want you to use in your future compositions. What that is and why it is connected to the news, well, we will find out in the video. A line. That's the easiest answer to, well, what can we do against this? It's always a line, believe me. And in this case, that is happening in the French horns. And this brings me now to the French horns. Let me first play this real quick here. Again, no scale tone 3, which would have been the G sharp. And this now sticks out as the one line, but it still remains very hollow. And this is why that pulse, or this motor section here, creates anticipation. You can write these 4 bars without saying anything. And that is exactly what happened in the sketch down there. Essentially, nothing. I'm sorry, Mark, but...
Do you know, I like to have nothing to write.
Oh, this is really great. I love it. So then, once we have this line established right here in the French horns, now let's bring in another thing. And look at the rhythm. Mark actually catches those things in the 2-bar and the timpani, because it is a very low line that starts happening here in the bass trombone and the trombones. So this is really nothing else than scale tone 1, scale tone 5. This one right here, scale tone 4 actually, a substitute almost for scale tone 3. Scale tone 4 is actually a good choice if you want to stay in that hollow and open sound. So that is why the A works great, because the E is pretty high here. When the E goes down to these guys, now it makes sense to go with scale tone 2. Let me just show you this line isolated real quick before we go into the other parts. And I want to include the trumpets because they just imitate that line and repeat it. Yep. If we now listen to this whole motor section here, and I actually want to exclude the brass real quick, just to show you what the brass really add to this whole thing. Now it sounds like the news, where you don't know exactly how much time you need for the speaker. So this can be an endless pattern of a news show or something. But with these lines in here, you actually get to a point, a musical point. So let me bring that back. And what is also interesting in that context, now that we focus on the brass, really pay attention to these whole notes right here, because they act as the glue into this motor, and then it fades out and you recognize that this bar is pretty empty, but when the bass trombone and the trombones come back, then you will recognize them. They add something again to the body of sound and to the lower register, obviously, so they bring back the power. So let me play this from here. That's the big resolution here, Mark, where we actually get to hear our major chord. I hope you liked this video. Smash that subscribe button, and maybe you want to even log into the virtual campus and find me in one of those virtual rooms. Well, that was Frank, and I hope to see you back in one of the future videos. Bye.